All right, folks, we're back for another round. So I grabbed the Jenner that we have, and I've gone through and did the same work on this one as the other, like the tanks, same process, same colors, and brought out all the, the highlighting and everything, so you can see that. Now this is a miniature that my son had started working on, and I'm just finishing up for him. Now what we're going to do in this portion is I'm going to use some Eshin gray and some basically Evil Sun Scarlet. I have some Troll Slayer orange and some pig iron from P3. And what we're going to do here is go through is like where you see the missile rack is, which I trying to always figure out how these missiles ever shoot without hitting the back of this head is beyond me. But they're there, right there, behind the head section. And we got the arms here, and looks like some type of scanner system right there. And then we got the jump, like there's parts right back here. And what I'm going to do is, that reminds me, where's it at? Where's my, there we go. Get a better, finer brush. I'm using a number 2. And this is my, it used to be flat, but after so many years of using it, it's getting worn out. It's about time I get some new flats. But what I'll go through here is, first I'm going to put in the Eshin gray, bring out the highlights of the silver, and then probably do the red first so that can dry. Then what I'm going to do is right here with the eyes where the cockpit is, I'm going to put some red in here, make that nice dark base behind it. It's hard to go directly to the orange. It's just too thin. So you need something darker behind it. That's the thing, is when you're working with your colors, you want to start with something like your base color. Say I started with green, I went with a darker green, and I worked up to my lights. And with something like a Troll Slayer is so thin, you got to start with a dark and then work your way up through the palette. So what I'll do first is, I got to shake these things up. So shake up my paints, get some little bit here. I'll bring that out to the side. Wrong thing. Get this out here. A little bit on my brush. And just go in here with the that is, and just darken it up just a bit. So now that will dry while I'm doing the other colors, and then we can come back with the orange. Alright. Then, moving on. Close that up, don't need that anymore. Put that back over in the rack. We'll go with the Eshin gray. And make sure this is dry after cleaning it. Now we'll go in here and just all we're doing is just filling in the area where this gray is. It's like the missile racks. Well, it's something I always like to do on my Battletech miniatures is if you have like missile pods, when you fire those things, they're going to leave a lot of soot behind. So it seems a bit ridiculous to put a really fancy paint job in an area that is going to get covered in soot. So I always make them darker. Another thing I like doing is I put Eshin gray on my like where if I have any arms or stuff like that. Well, I do that also. Yeah, the other thing is like right here in the arms, normally that would be if you had some lasers or something, you put, I always like putting silver. It's just something to break up the monotony of a color. Let's say I'm looking at this hunter tank here. Right where the missile rack is, I'll put Ashen Gray there. I'll put some on the back where, say, they have an exhaust port back here where the rocket exhaust comes out. That's going to get exhausts on it. Right here is like a command hatch where you're looking out. I'll usually put like silver there, kind of make it look glass canopy with maybe a little bit of blue or something in it. And then here's like a driver's hatch right here. I'll put some color on that too. And we'll go from there. And also, like the tracks will have silver, and then I'll use my special wash that I always have for tracks for vehicles. Alright, so basically done with the Ashen Gray. I'll just put that off to the side for the moment. Reminds me, I'm going to do all these other mechs here real quick. So we're going on to the pig iron. This thing's getting empty. Do I got any more left? Another cold steel. Yep, more cold steel. Well, I might have to run to the shop and get myself some more. This may about down to the last bit. Alright, so right here we got the exhaust ports in the back. This is getting down to the last bit parts. And we'll just go in there nice and neat. Fill it in the back. So you got your exhaust port. So it's like you have jump jets, stuff like that. So it just kind of represents a different material. Now, one thing I'm looking at here, let's say this is a guidance package. I'll just put like it's a little bit of sensor up top, so to help like a laser that would guide in the missiles and stuff into the target. Alright, that's done. Then we'll go on to the next color, which is, let's go back to the cockpit. This is our Troll Slayer, and this is one of the old style. So I always take, you know, this is a we call it a flight stand stem from way back in the day, and I just stick it in behind here. Other things that will work, so then it just pops it open so I can use it real easy. Another thing is that when you have paintbrushes, little caps that come off the brush that you can use, you can stick those in there too. That helps out greatly to keep the darn things open. They were such a pain in the butt before. So we got the red in there ready, so now I can just go in and put a little bit of orange in there so it brightens it up. There, cockpit's done. Now you could go in with just a little bit of, let's say, add a little bit of yellow and a little, just a light line like it's reflection of light or whatever you want to call it. Or you can go up here with this guidance package right there, and you can put just a tad, a little bit in there to just give it like a color. There you go. So that would be it. That's basically, you go through and you do that for all the cockpits, you do that for all the lasers. Let's say, let's find one here. Alright, this is a Clint. This Clint right here. I would go in and put silver on the gun here. This is AC5. Then I'd put some Eshin gray on the hand. It's got an open fist here, so you can use it for punching or whatever. And back here, this whole area back here, I usually would put silver because it looks like it's a jump jet fusion pack area. And then you'd go in. Oh, that's another thing. I need to go back here with my silver and fill in all of these areas that are joints. So it's you're not going to have paint usually over the joints because you want something that is well lubricated, so it will be able to work without too many problems. I'll just go in here and fill this in. And it kind of helps break up the outline of the mech a little bit. And go in here. This joint's a little more open than the other one, so it's a little more bent, but it's closed. You just go in there and get in there nice and neat. If you make a mistake, you know, you can always go back in with your other base colors that you use and just kind of go around the joint and clean it up some. And we got a up top here. And I also like to, if you have it where it looks like it has areas where you're going to have, especially on these mechs, it looks like it has areas where on the side here it looks like a vent for heatsink on a mech. I'll put a little bit of silver on those too, just to make it look like it's well designed for displacement of heat. You don't want something that's going to be painted. You want it bare metal as possible so it conducts as much energy away as possible. And if you're really ambitious, you can go in to where the arms here, they rotate back and forth, so you might want to put some, if you feel like it, you can put it in there too. Just it looks like there's just a little bit right here in the front. So there you go. And down, looks like that's about it. So we'll just let that sit. Now, if you want to darken that up some, you can always take a wash of Nuln oil. You shake that up, and then I have, depending on the size of the area, I take a regular paintbrush that I don't plan on using for paint. This is my, it's an 0. So I use that so it's very fine and I can get in really easy with my Nuln oil and put a wash into different areas. So that's everything, all the steps for that. Now, I just want to show you something here. This here, this hovercraft here for Battletech, has a camo scheme on it. So you can take the same colors you used before without mixing it with any of the others. So I had the green, I had the brown. You can pick up, let's say, where is it at here? Where's my browns? So I got a whole bunch of them. You got light browns. You got the, let's say, XV88. That's a kind of a lighter brown. Skag brown, or some GWs, or Doom Bull brown. And what you do is you take a fine brush and you just make lines all over it, and you end up with a camo scheme. If you don't want just a tricolor / green, and you can go in there lightly with all those heavy camouflage, light camouflage. So there's many ways of doing things.
So,
all right, that's where we're going to end for right now. Maybe I'll come back and show you some other things, but that's what we're going to do for the moment. We'll be back.